In this video, we're going to continue about talking about the method declaration and explain the rest of the parts of our method declaration. So in the previous video, we looked at a simple method that returned a value when it is called. These methods such as this, remember the get account number. Remember we said all it does is just return the account number as an integer data type. All it does is return the account number to the caller as an integer type. Now let's look at a method that doesn't return any value but takes a value instead. So the value that it takes, we call it argument. So this is the term that you're going to use. You say the method takes an argument. So we've seen this. So this is one method. As you can see, that it returns a void. The name of the account is set account number. And by the way, this type, remember the get account number, this method are called the getters. The set, any method that you see that has the word set in it, we call them a setter. So we already explained what the minus stands for in the last video. It's an instance method. So this method is an instance method. It can only work on an object. The word in the bracket void simply means that this method returns nothing. It returns a void, nothing. This method performs an action but doesn't return a value to the object that calls it. So it means the method can either return a value or returns no value. So a return can either return something or it doesn't. So in this case, the set account number doesn't return any value to the caller. So whatever data type to be returned is put in the bracket, or the word void is used when it doesn't return any value. So if it returns a float, you put a float here. If it returns a char, you put a char. If it returns an integer, you put int here. If you return an object, you put the class, the type of object that it returns here. So let's continue. The set account number is the name of the method. So this is the name of the method, set account number, and from the name we can see that it sets the account. They set the number on the account to a particular value. For example, we may want to change the account number of a given customer after it has been originally set. We then call on this method to change it to the new provided value. So for example, say Mary, break up with her boyfriend and she wants to change the account number. She might go to the bank and say, oh, I want to change my account number because I think my account number has been compromised, just an example. And the bank might say, okay, we're going to change. So when the bank staff clicks on a button that say update account status, what they actually do is actually sending a message of set account number, and then they type this value into the text box on the screen, and when they click on that button, it's going to set the account number to a new value. Remember, you just set it. It doesn't return any value. All is just changing the values, changing the state of the object, as we discussed before. So from the method declaration, this part, the int account, this one here at the top here, int account, all it does is this is the name of the argument that you're sending in this case, this number. You're sending a message, you're sending an argument in a method to an object. So the int account indicates the data type and the value that we want to pass as an argument into the method. So we have to state, when you declare a method, you have to state the data type. So if you want to send in, for example, if this is an account balance, then you want to send in a double or a float inside of it and not an integer. So you have to state the data type of the argument that is going to be expected by the program. Sometimes we want to pass two or more arguments into a method. For example, we want to set the length and the breadth of a rectangle. So for example, we want to send these two information for a rectangle. We can declare the method like this, because we don't expect it to return anything, so we put a void, then we say set rectangle, then we put the length and the width. So this is the way you set it. You have to put the data type of what you want to send in, and then you put a colon here, and you put a colon here as well, and then the name. So the name in this case, this name are arbitrary names. You can say X or Y, it doesn't really matter. You can just give any name that makes sense to you, and in this case I've called them the argument name to be length and width. So let's look at declaring a method with 3 arguments. So if you want to, for example, you want to calculate a cube volume. So you want it to return an integer. You want, after calculating the volume, you want it to return the volume back to you. So that means you put the return data type at the back, and then the argument, the first argument is length and width and the depth of the cube. So all of them are type int, and you declare them. So this is where, don't forget this semicolon at the end of the. So actually, in reality, something I haven't I need to actually explain is, in reality, when you want to name, when you want to refer to this this particular method in your program, you have to say calculate cube volume colon colon colon. This is actually how you have to refer it, because it has 3 arguments. Each colon means, so for example, if you want to refer to this one in a program, you have to refer it as set account number with a colon. If it's a get account number, because it doesn't take any argument, you don't put a colon at the back. But because this one takes 1 argument, you put 1 colon. This one takes 2 arguments, you have to say set rectangle colon colon. That's the way you refer to the name of that method. And this one takes 3, you have to refer to it like this, because because of the number of arguments that it takes. The above method takes 3 arguments and then return the result as an integer data type. The result is the volume of the cube. In the program code, the method call will look like this. This is the way it will look like in a method int cube volume. Then cube volume will be blue cube. Remember, this is the name of our object, and we apply this method to it, and we'll give it 3 arguments. We'll send in 3 arguments, and these 3 arguments will be used to calculate the volume of the cube, and then the volume of the cube will be returned. Remember, it's going to return an integer, and that value that is returned is going to stored into this cube volume. Then we can print it out. So program is actually very easy. All you have to do is just know what you're doing, and it's actually very easy. So I hope you understand what is going on here. I hope you understand what everything means now in our. So if we go back to the program now, what looks like garbage before makes sense to you now. As you can see now, you understand what the void means, what the minus means, the name of the account, the variable name, the argument's name and the argument data type. This one takes 2. It takes 2. This one takes 2 arguments. The balance as a float, the account number as an int. The second one, it takes the account number as an int. It doesn't return anything. The third one, it said the account balance. It takes a balance as a float and it returns nothing. The third one, this one, all it does is just send the account number back as an integer. This one sends the account balance back as a float. The last one does nothing other than, it doesn't return anything. It doesn't return anything, and it doesn't take any arguments. All it does is just print out some statements on the screen, which we're going to look at very soon. As you can see, all it does is just do some work. And I hope that makes sense, and I hope you understand the whole concept of method declaration now inside the interface section. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.